Recipes for technical trading success in Cook's Kitchen.
Hey everybody, welcome to a special edition of Cook's Kitchen, the Zach's Live edition. And we're going to talk about Tesla and Solar City and the potential solar implosion. I'm joined by my colleague Dave Bartosiak, who's going to try and fill us in on the how this debt thing is going to work out for Solar City. Listen, as soon as I heard this deal last night, about, 5 Eastern, it hits the wires, Tesla's buying Solar City, I thought there's got to be so much wrong with this, I don't even know where to begin. I never thought of shorting Tesla before. Maybe I should have, up at 250. But this screamed a short for several reasons, because it looks like a bail-in to me. You know, you're saving a company is what it looks like. So perception obviously rules. That's what Wall Street would think it would look like. So I thought, hey, this stock, Tesla, could easily revisit the lows of the year around 140. And I'm not saying that the companies are going to implode, but just having some fun with the solar theme there a little bit. One thing I do know is that the lawyers were probably jumping up and down last night, also thinking about all the class action lawsuits that they can bring to the fore. Because, listen, anytime there's a merger, any deal, any M&A, there's always a lawsuit. Somebody says, hey, we didn't get paid enough. I mean, it just happened when Michael Dell took Dell private. So you know it's going to happen with this one because there are perceived conflicts of interest. So this is my picture of the orc army invading because, you know, that's what it's going to be like with the lawyers lined up, either defending, you know, the Tesla currency or defending Solar City, that they should have got paid more. Either way, there's shareholders on both sides that want to get paid. So, you know, there's so much to talk about here. I heard Elon say, hey, this merger is blindingly obvious. Is it blindingly obvious? Is Wall Street blind, or is there some super synergy here?
It's not blindingly obvious, but there are synergies associated with it, right? So if you think about, we got to think big picture with Tesla, right? So of course we've been very excited about the Tesla Model 3 that's going to come out, and there's this huge ramp up in production. They're trying to build these gigafactories, trying to make sure they get all these batteries able to get in these cars, right? So that's kind of where Wall Street has gone, of like, okay, this car is going to revolutionize the business, and this is the great thing that's happening. So we're all kind of fixated on that, right? On getting these factories up and running so that we can fill all these pre-orders, you know, the hundreds of thousands of pre-orders they got for the Model 3, so we can really get this thing off and running. But what you forget about, though, is the power wall, right? Okay. So Tesla's kind of that self-sustaining battery pack where you can actually hold energy inside of your house, and then that would be used to charge your Model 3. So the way that Elon's looking at this is it's a vertical integration of an energy solution and a transportation solution kind of all in one.
Right. I mean, the guy is clearly visionary. I forgot to bring in my book. I'm reading this book called Bold by Peter Diamandis, the guy who created the X Prize for space exploration. He's friends with Elon Musk. He's friends with Jeff Bezos. He's friends with Richard Branson. He's friends with Larry Page. Peter Diamandis, Bold. You got to read this book. I did not read the autobiography of Musk, but when I read this book, I gained new respect for Musk and just the technology visionary that he is, and you know how he's looking out, 25, 50 years. And so yeah, he wants this integrated model because he thinks that's where the future of transportation should go for the betterment of mankind and the planet. Sure. The trouble is translating that vision to Wall Street, and I thought, well, forget the lawsuits. What are the analysts going to say? Right. And we can talk about the minutia of the debt, but just on the surface, is this really helping Tesla right now? I got a stock chart up here that showing I thought it might revisit 140. 141 was the low. Oof. It's gapping down there. We tried to go short the stock this morning, and it was already hard to borrow. Hedge funds were just piling in trying to short it. Was able to put on a August 200 180 put spread.
And look at
for
the
about
volume already.
$8. Yeah, huge volume. It's going to be over 4 times the average. So, so what Musk's vision?
Right.
Can he? How soon can he create that and have these synergies come true? It's alternate energy for the planet, right? It's very green.
Yeah, when I see this, I think of like Willy Wonka and his chocolate factory, like yelling at the Oompa Loompas, right? So Elon Musk is like in his boardroom, like, I want to make it happen right now, immediately. And he's not talking to the bean counters, right? He's not talking to Wall Street. He's not talking to the guys who are actually going to make things happen for him. He still needs money to finance these factories, right, that aren't even there yet, okay? You better do that before people start wanting their fully refundable deposits back on their Tesla Model 3s, because that could be trouble. But then you take on a company in Solar City. It's not like Solar City is a cash cow that he can go to supplement that business. Solar City is hurting right now, right?
What's their debt?
Yeah,
do we have a good number on that?
We've got a few different numbers here. We were talking about it earlier. As low as 1.3 billion, as high as 3.2 billion is what I've seen the range on it. I think we'll call it 2.5 billion, kind of in the combined companies if you take Tesla and now Solar City in one. So you have that debt. Now Solar City said that they were going to be cash flow positive by Q4 of this year.
Really?
That's what they think.
Okay.
Right? They're certainly not now. Okay?
Yeah.
So they're burning through, right now the combined companies will burn through approximately $2.8 billion this year, $2.6 billion next year. That's a lot of cash.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. That's what everybody's worried about.
I should have a live chart of Solar City. I don't. I think it's already down to, the premium's all been washed out of it because it almost seems like the street doesn't think the deal's going to happen because there's going to be, so much angst or protest against it. Speaking of Musk as a visionary, do you think that Wall Street has granted him a lot of leeway with his vision, and now maybe he's gone a step too far?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they're buying into Tesla at these wild valuations in the hopes that in a few years you're going to build this car and things are going to get great, right? You're going to give them a little leeway. Plus, you got SpaceX, so you're landing rockets on drones in the middle of the ocean, right? You got to kind of know what you're doing. So he's got 3 companies that he's heading, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
So and his vision is incredible. The Hyperloop, who knows if that's going to happen, but that's incredible. And what are his cars going to look like in 10 or 20 years? We don't even know. By the way, what's your favorite? If you could have a Model S, what color would you want it in?
Well, there's kind of the beauty angle, and then there's the actual, sort of what's gonna be practical on a day-to-day basis. So personally, like I've had black cars, right, and they look great for the 3 hours that they're clean, right, and then they're terrible. And then white, I don't know if I just got a white car.
No, you can't get a white one.
I just got a white one, and
Did
it's
you?
beautiful.
What?
Oh, man, but mine's nice. But the Tesla, though, I wouldn't get a Tesla in white.
No.
There's just not enough to offset it.
Yeah, I see black ones on the highway all the time around here in Chicago. I saw a red one, and that red is hot. But I really like
the red.
I really like this blue.
The blue's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think I'd go with the blue with the gray interior, and like a machined aluminum rim.
So is the appeal for the individual investor in Tesla the sexy sports car company that's also green? I mean, I kind of think that's the appeal, and maybe people don't look out to his vision 10 or 20 years from now about, integrated energy and all that.
Well, I think if you're looking at it, they weren't meant to be the sexy sports car. They weren't meant to be the luxury.
But it is.
This was just how they were going to make money.
Yeah.
They're like, well, whatever, this will make some money for us. We can use that money to go ahead and make this much cheaper model that we can deliver to people that they're going to enjoy.
And what's the acceleration like on these things?
Oh, it's crazy. It's break your neck.
And we accidentally became a sexy sports car company.
Right. They kind of, just kind of fell upon it, right?
Trying to be green, yeah.
But I mean, the Model S was a great car. It got like 103 out of 100 in the Motor Trend, rankings when it came out. So it was
every time
incredible.
I see somebody driving them on the highway, I just look over at them and they just smiling.
Yeah. I don't know if like the quiet car thing just bothers me.
Yeah, you want to hear
I need to hear something. Yeah, I need to know I'm in there for a reason and something's happening. When it's too quiet, I don't like it. But there's plenty of people who like quiet cars. So.
Yeah. So you heard my take that I wanted to be short it, for lots of reasons that I think Wall Street's not going to give another pass here. There's going to be, even if the deal doesn't go through, people are questioning, what's the value of our investment here? When does Tesla make money, and is this just another distraction? What's your view technically of the stock here at $200?
Yeah, I don't like it. You see the huge volume breaking down below 200 today, and below 200, I mean, you got the 200 there. I like to draw that little retracement from down to the 140 to 170. So that's what, $1.30 right there, so 75, right? So that would put us 215. We're below that right now.
Yeah.
Right? So you're below that level, so then you'd have to retrace, down to the, 61.8, right? Fib level there. So you're going even further. 16, trying to do the math here. So I think in the short term, technically, this thing's got a little ways to go to the downside before it catches a bid. And then now it's just, is Wall Street going to be comfortable with buying a stock? And it's not because of any identity crisis or because of Solar City and them not believing in the vision. It's the actual nuts and bolts of the deal. It's like when, like you're broke and you're borrowing money and then you come home with a new car. Right? Like, doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like, what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. They don't have cash flow. They have a ton of debt. They're worried about this other stuff they need money for, and they're being irresponsible by making this move, even though it's just a stock move. They're not offering up any money for it. It just doesn't make sense from an actual balance sheet.
Yeah, when I talk about the potential lawsuits, I'm really talking about the Solar City shareholders who are who are in from 50 or higher,
right,
and thinking, I want more.
Well, they only caught, 20%, 30%?
Yeah, I don't want Tesla shares. I want my Solar City. So I was just reading here, Barclays says more troublesome is the firm's estimated cash burn for the combined companies, which it pegged at $2.8 billion this year and $2.4 billion still in 2018. That's the cash burn. So let's get to Chanos, because this is the guy that really infused my knowledge of what was potentially wrong with Solar City as a business that just is trying to get bailed in. So Chanos' thesis for being short Solar City, which probably goes back a couple of years, was that it's not an alternative energy company, as it appears to be. It's a finance company with a bunch of inventory to offload, trying to sell these panels to rooftops. So that's the simplified crux of his theory, is that it's not an alternative energy company. It's just a finance company with tons of inventory, and the prices will go down for that inventory, which makes the long-term model for the business unsustainable.
Right, and he also argues that these panels, while they sound like they're awesome right now, 20 years from now, where's the technology going to be? And it's not going to be anything.
Yeah, and really, and then getting back to cars, we know that Musk has to be looking at the future of autonomous cars. So, again, the appeal of Tesla for a lot of people is the sexy sports car, and it's green, but we're headed possibly towards this autonomous future where you won't even be able to drive a Vet or a Mustang anymore, Dave.
I don't want any part of it. Not taking my cars.
So. Let's say that the deal doesn't go through. Let's say that we find out in a couple of months, this isn't going to happen. Does the stock prices just pop back up and the Tesla's above 200?
No, I think because it's a black eye for Elon Musk of coming out and just saying, I'm going to ignore. I'm just not going to be fiscally responsible at all. Right?
Right.
And I don't care what anybody says, and I'm going to get what I want. We're going to do this right now.
Wall Street should follow my vision.
But now I'm going to give a little devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Right? We can't just beat up on it. But what if he really does believe that Solar City does get cash flow positive over the course of the next few quarters, and he thinks that the business of Solar City is going to be worth a lot more just in a couple of years, and by coming in and making this deal happen now, he's getting it at a huge discount to what he really believes the company is worth in the future.
I mean, yeah, if he's right, but that's going to take years to pan out.
Sure.
And in the meantime, it's the perception. Everybody's like, no, you're just bailing out your own company, versus the long-term vision of this integrated thing. So he has such a tough PR battle here, but the guy is obviously a genius in some ways, and he doesn't care. He's like going full frontal against Wall Street, saying, call it what you want. this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's some bravado. You got to appreciate the bravado, right? I mean, he wouldn't have gotten this far without it.
Just to look at some other analyst calls here, I got a note from Oppenheimer. They had a $385 price target on Tesla shares.
Had.
They nixed that today, and they've gone market perform. So they're removing the price target and just going market perform.
Wow.
So maybe that's a stand aside for the uncertainty. They look at the, what's the possibility of this integrated sustainable energy model? They see, they're trying to offer some optimism here and say, well, we could see how there's some leverage on the retail front.
Right.
Maybe that's the future. You come into a Tesla store and you buy the whole package.
Well, sure, you get outfitted.
The auto, you're all energied up. But I don't think that that's what your average Tesla investor thinks they're buying now when they buy Tesla shares.
Right, because they're not seeing that part yet.
Yeah.
They're just kind of looking at this going like, what the heck?
So are you on board for the vision and that price evaluation? How long can you ride that out? I got some lovely emails this morning from people who told me I was crazy for shorting Tesla at $200. That it's a cult stock and that it's it can only go higher. But I think that that's going to be tested here. And what I think is going to be tested is this year's lows.
What I found interesting, and I think Chanos even pointed this out, that the market cap that Tesla lost this morning, right, last night this morning, was more than the size of the deal.
Oh, right.
So they lost $3.2 billion in market cap on a $2.8 billion deal.
Yeah, they're on the wrong side of this arbitrage, and the hedge funds are going to try and push it against them. Well, we've chewed up about 17 minutes here, and we barely scratched the surface on some very complex issues. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As Dave likes to do this live stuff. This is my first time at it, and
I'd slice your tie in half,
if I had one.
Yeah, but we don't have one, so we don't have to do it.
And I had to wear the glasses because my contacts are too strong and I can't even read anything. So thanks for joining us on Zach's Live, the Cook's Kitchen edition, and we'll talk to you soon.